but I was just wondering why you're on. Did you want to talk about your history podcast?
Yeah, a little bit like that. I'm planning for starting it up again. It's been a little bit on hiatus for a
Yeah.
while, mostly because it takes really fucking many hours to do a history podcast, because you want to get everything right. So, uh, well, my history podcast is basically that I'm really into history, and if you're into history and want to hear a Swede mansplain history to you,
What do you mean
it's
mansplain? What are you talking about? Mansplain history?
well, the thing is like that. Most episodes I'm alone, and I research an episode and I talk about a point of history.
Mm.
Some episodes I do invite people on to talk.
Yeah.
Uh, People that know a little bit more than me about a certain subject. So I have some guests sometimes.
Yeah.
But usually I pick events that are interesting. I have actually made sure that this podcast is mainly aimed at North Americans.
Hmm.
So it's aimed to teach North American, European, and maybe African and Asian history as well.
Yeah.
So it's aimed to teach North Americans whatever you don't read in your own schools.
Yeah.
Because I realized that there is a lot of lack of knowledge about a lot,
Mm.
a lot about things. So therefore I made some episodes about the Swedish Liberation Wars because I don't think that people know about those.
Yeah.
Um,
About the number of times that the Danish have kicked your asses.
or the number of times we have kicked their asses.
Yeah, okay. I just like to get my digs in at you. You know I like to sometimes dig my anti-Swedish hatred.
At one time, we were so angry at the Danish, we walked over the fucking ice to burn Copenhagen. That's right. So I talk about some British history as well. We have the episode you see here, the Game of Thrones, is about
Yeah.
the War of the Roses.
That was done with with someone else we know. Was it Simon's Rattle?
Yeah, Simon's
Yeah.
Rattle
Yeah.
is in that episode. We have the episode number 3 there is Forgotten History. It's African history about Ghana, Mali, and Songhai Empire.
That was a really interesting one. I really enjoyed that one.
You got the Sumerian Empire, which was basically my pilot episode. Trying out my wings a little bit. The Chronicles of Death is about, of course, the bubonic plague. And then we talk a little bit about Egypt down there, and I haven't not a fully educated Egyptologist on there, but he's very interested in Egypt history more than I am. And we talk a little bit about that. I am very specialized, of course, within Swedish history.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing the Swedish Liberation Wars. And that's why my next episode is going to be the Swedish intervention in the 30 Years of War. Because that's basically when the war got from just a war to a fucking meat grinder.
Yeah.
It was basically, it's time for Sweden. It's time for Sweden to show its feet, and yeah, we did it. It's no wonder the rest of Europe hates it.
Yeah.
Why do you put up the Danish flag?
No reason.
Throw out?
No, I'm just trying to trigger. I'm just trying to trigger you.
Yeah.
I think the thing about that was, especially the one about the Swedish Liberation War, is that, and obviously being from from fucking Turf Island, obviously in terms of European history, if it's not like the World Wars, or it's basically about us like fighting with the French effectively. So it was really interesting because, honestly, I know this probably sounds quite bad, but no one, in my experience at least, ever thinks about the history of like Scandinavia beyond, the Vikings, which is something that a lot of people don't actually understand or really know about anyway. So it was really interesting to think about it in more of a context of like these powerful European dynasties and about how they sort of influenced each other, the alliances they made, the wars they fought. I was actually like surprised by how interesting and powerful that entire topic was.
Yeah, I'm usually scolding people for calling the Wars of the Roses the Game of Thrones. I would say that Scandinavia is the Game of Thrones
Yeah.
because fuck you, we changed thrones a lot. It's there is a lot of back and forth over there.
Yeah.
It's like and I but in a way I understand why you don't learn it in history class, because it doesn't really concern a lot of Europe.
Yeah.
You know, it concerns Northern Europe more than anything. Maybe Northern Germany at most. Doesn't really concern anything else. Sweden isn't important to European history until we enter the 30 Years' War.
Yeah.
Because that's when Sweden shows its real, what should I say, power? Because that's when we just go in and slaughter yikes amount of people. And that's what my next episode is going to be about, by the way, because we're going to talk, I'm gonna do a battle down thing on the Battle of Breitenfeld. Yeah, I know it takes time, but it's only because I'm trying to read as many sources as I can so I get it right.
Yeah.
Because when you do podcasts about history, there are really bad history podcasts.
Why do you say
really
bad? Like, what's the qualities about them, or lack of qualities, that you'd say make them bad?
They treat rumors as fact. Like, one really bad thing is we're gonna talk about how let's say topless channels. You know those, right?
Topless channels.
Top 10 of.
Oh, top 10. So I thought you said topless. I was like, what is that, like history?
Oh,
Some
yeah.
woman's got her breasts out or something.
Yeah, no.
Because that would probably do really well on the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So no, the top 10 ones. Yeah.
Yeah, top 10 ones. So you got top 10 historical mistakes or whatever.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of them come from ancient history.
Yeah.
Like the Greeks and stuff like that. But they're presented as fact. But is it? Because if you're an historian like me, you're gonna read history as a bit of a open book, obviously. But you're gonna read, like, I read Roman historians, for example. And I'm gonna take a really blatant example right now of how this can. If you have you seen the movie 300?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So you know that is the Battle of Thermopylae?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many persons were in that battle?
I always heard the number was 1 million. It was 300 Persians against 300 Spartans against 1 million Persians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know why you think that?
Why?
That is because the Greek historian Herodotus, I think his name is that in English as well. Sorry.
Yeah.
Said that the Persian army was 2 million people. This is impossible.
I take it there weren't that many
Because
people in the Persian Empire.
Yeah. There was no way. There is no way there were that many.
Yeah.
Either way, the Persian army, the Battle of Thermopylae did happen. Right?
Yeah.
And the Spartan stance did happen. It's just a little bit changed that, because even Herodotus tells us that the Persians also had their slave.
Yeah.
With them, who fled eventually. But there weren't 1 million persons attacking the Spartan. But here you got the thing: when you watch these like top 10 historical battles or whatever, they present these as facts without really asking questions, because there are a lot of questions that we don't know how this battle panned out. We know the battle happened, and we know that Leonidas died in. But we don't know that it happened the way he wrote it, because we already know he lied about the numbers. So, and one thing with Greek historians is that they like to add a dramatic effect to things. So when he talks about the ground shaking by the army walking to the Spartans, it's obviously a way to paint up the Spartans as mighty warriors trying to stand against, because you're building the Spartan myth. You have to always do that. And the historians at that time didn't really care as much about what is facts and what is fictions. And we should also know that he lived several hundred years after this event. So you can't really... So when I talk history, I am very clear about this, and I think I made it very clear in my videos as well when I say that these are rumors, these cannot be substantiated really. This guy that wrote this, he was paid by the king to write this. And you always have to make these things, which makes history really hard to talk about. But I guess that is really more fun to just write it out as something that is fact, but it's not. We know that the Battle of Thermopylae happened. We know that the Spartans fought it. We know Leonidas died in it. We know that the Spartans were outnumbered. We don't really know much else. We know that we also know that the Spartans were betrayed with a back passage.
It's a good term. Do you know much about, because obviously one thing with 300 was there was all that stuff about how the boys, especially in this society, were raised, they were treated like very harshly, they were taught to fight very young. Do you know if there's any like real reflection of like Spartan culture in that film was actually representative on it, or is that not like a part of the history that you're particularly aware of? Like, was Spartan history, like that part of Spartan history, do you reckon that was probably quite reflective of how it actually was as a culture?
Both yes and no.
Right.
You should know that Herodotus was not Spartan. So he was writing while they were both Greeks. He wrote about them in a bit of admiration of their military accomplishments, but also in a bit of disgust. So, so a bit of it is obviously exaggerated. But there are things that are confirmed by other historians as well by the time. So I wouldn't say that Spartan society is that much overplayed. It's a bit overplayed, but not too much. You have the boys were treated harshly. So were the girls. But the boys were treated way more harshly. The girls were trained for the last line of defense, which was a way they learned fighting. They learned stuff like that, but they were the last line of defense, so they learned how to defend Sparta itself.
Right. Okay.
Spartans as men, they were trained to go to war. So it wasn't exactly the same training. So the women weren't treated that harshly as the men. They did throw out unwanted children or children that didn't pass the tests. That is true. That is also something that Athens actively despised. Because they thought it was barbaric. And you also had this line from the Moves 300, because there is a person messenger, I think, that comes to Sparta and talks to Leonidas,
Is it
and
that
his wife
famous scene
speaks out.
where the guy gets kicked into the giant hole? Is that the one you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right before that
Oh,
because
okay.
Leonidas' wife speaks out,
Hmm.
and the messenger is angry that a woman speaks to him.
Right.
But the reason a woman could speak to him in the Spartan Society was that women birthed Spartan men,
Oh, I see.
so they had an agency
Yeah.
in that.
Because you must be a pretty impressive woman if you're able to give birth to a Spartan warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just something
That,
any woman can do.
no, exactly. So that part is also probably true.
Yeah.
Like how they saw, the roles of the sexes especially.
Mm.
So there is a lot to Spartan culture in that movie that is true. I would
Yeah.
say the most untrue of it is the battle sequences.
Yeah.
One thing that I really don't like in the movie is when they throw their regular spears. Like,
Is the technique
wouldn't have-
completely wrong?
yeah, because they wouldn't do that because they had special throwing spears, so they wouldn't
Oh, okay.
they wouldn't
Yeah.
throw their actual spears,
Yeah.
like because hoplites use spears.
Yeah.
That was the weapon. The sword was the sidearm.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, but like, yeah, the battles are obviously fucking ludicrous, but as a society, Spartan's kind of famous for that kind of society. It's awful. It's I don't know. You became a Spartan when you killed a slave without them knowing it. So you just went up and cut the throat of a slave.
Yeah.
Herodotus tells us, and I don't know if that is true because once again, Herodotus might as well just feed us shit because he didn't like Spartans.
Yeah.
It's
And also, it's a much more dramatic, it's a much more dramatic narrative as well. So it adds that extra spice to the story he's trying to tell.
Yeah, so it gives the mythos to the Spartans a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe more than they deserve.
Mm.
You also have one thing that Herodotus mentions a lot. It is that every time Athens needs help, the Spartans has their peace festival.
Mm.
And it happens every goddamn time that Athens need help.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe they had the peace festival that they did. I actually do, because that's how the Battle of Thermopylae happened.
Yeah.
It was during their peace festival, but the Spartans agreed to send 300 of them, even though they shouldn't go to war during that festival, just because Athens asked for help. So yeah, there is a lot. That is what I hate with history YouTube, is that there is a lot of good history told, but there is a lot of it that is not questioned enough, really.
Yeah.
They just really like to tell the legends and the lore that they hear, but it's just rumors, and they tell it as the truth, and then people come to me and say, "Oh, is this true?" Yeah, I don't know.
And obviously, there's the issue as well we have now, especially with the sort of split politically online. There's a lot of historical revisionism. Obviously, that tends to be more geared towards modern history, especially like the Second World War, the rise of National Socialism, things like the Holodomor in the USSR. So it's a very big concern because it's not just like lazy or just sort of pop history. It's actually like active attempts to drive things away from like the historical consensus.
Yeah, I mean, I can deal with pop history.
Yeah.
Like, say, you have an article in a paper about, the Crusaders or the Crusades that can be wrong. I usually don't get that worked up about it.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, this is bullshit. But it's all right. You can find information on that. I get a little bit more angry when people write into. There is a lot of history channels on YouTube that really like to fetishize Nazi Germany in a way that is a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially the war machines or.
Did you ever see you know Quentin Reviews is right, the YouTuber?
Yeah, I know.
Did you ever see his he did like a three-part mini-series on the History Channel? Did you ever see that? Any of those videos?
No, I didn't see that.
There was a really good because
I didn't see that.
The one he basically like obviously like, went into the history of the channel, how it began, and then how it sort of basically became a joke, and he went through like the ancient alien stuff, which I know you've got a particular issue with.
Yeah, but by the way, I got 2 videos on my channel where I debunk ancient alien stuff. If anyone is interested.
Excellent. Because I love that. That's the thing. I have like when I was a kid, I was very into the paranormal, and like I read Eric von Daniken and things like that.
Dude, I am too.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in it. I'm still into it, but I'm not. But really, on my channel, if you're interested, I have a playlist for Dig It Up. I think.
Dig It Up. Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, and there I have at least 2 channels debunking ancient aliens.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I definitely watched the UFOs in medieval art one. The Phoenix Lights and Black. Oh, you've discussed the Black Knight satellite. I don't know why I haven't watched this one because that's definitely one I'm interested in. Does everyone in chat knows what the Black Knight is, don't they?
Yeah, so
yeah, you might as well explain it.
Yeah,
anyway.
got it. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna make more of those.
Yeah.
Those are also videos that take time because you had to dig through so much bullshit to go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the answer for this in that video. It's I can spoil it.
If you want to, it's entirely up to you.
Yeah, it's a thermal blanket.
What, the Black Knight?
Yeah, it's a thermal blanket from the ISS.
Oh.
It's that.
No, it's not. It's powerful alien technology.
No.
We're not breaking the illusion.
It's a thermal blanket from the ISS. And someone just made it out to be 13,000 years old, or what they are saying. I don't fucking know where that came from. And some even make the claim that Nikola Tesla had contact with it.
Yep, I've heard that before.
What the fuck? No, he did not. Nikola Tesla was, by the end of his life, was fucking insane. He thought he made a death ray.
Yeah. There's an SCP about Nikola Tesla's death ray. He was basically like the mythology around Tesla is just so fascinating. Like he obviously was a genius. He was an incredible pioneer. But it's basically like he is Tony Stark to it. He's like steampunk Tony Stark.
Yeah, the thing is that he fucking lost it somewhere. Yep. Because as you say, he was a genius. He did all the things that he did. He did not contact the Black Knight satellite. He did not construct an actual death ray. He just thought he did. And no one listened to him.
Waffle in the chat just said, didn't he fall in love with a pigeon or something? Can you confirm that as a historian? What? No, hang on. I've never heard this. I need to know what this is. He fell in love with a pigeon.
Yeah, well, I don't think he fell in love with it, but he fell, in trust with it.
Right, hang on. We need to. We're going to do some live fact checking on my channel.
The thing is that the man went insane.
Yeah. Well, clearly, if he was having some sort of relationship, literally Google when I started typing, it said it came up Nikola Tesla pigeon wife. Throughout his life, Tesla never married, but he once claimed he fell in love with a pigeon. Tesla used to take walks to the park to feed the pigeons. He developed an unusual relationship with a white pigeon, which used to be... What? I love
Yes.
that pigeon as a
Yes.
man loves a woman and she loved me. Fucking wow. What?
This man constructed a fucking death ray. No, he didn't. But still, Jesus Christ.
That's amazing. That's actually amazing. I'm so... Waffle, I'm so happy. I am so happy for you throwing that up. This is like... I'm going to set this as like my... I've got my awesome fucking comic book desktop, but I'm actually going to have to change it to the Tesla pigeon couple. Oh my god. That's like the best thing I've ever heard in my life. This is the quintessential historical content. This is actually what people need to make videos on.
This is the best wedding picture I ever seen.
Love it. This is amazing. Absolutely outstanding. Oh, that's so good.
Oh god, this is so... I hate talking about Nikola Tesla because the reason I do hate talking about him is because no one can separate fiction from fact.
Yeah.
He did a lot.
Yeah.
There is no denying it. But by the end of his career, he was poor, he was lonely, and was...
Well, he got fucked over by Edison, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the, rules of the land by the time.
Yeah.
You can... He like this. He wasn't quick enough to put down his research and actually tell people what he discovered.
Yeah.
He told other researchers what he discovered, and then they could take his shit. He didn't take the time to, he was smart, but he was not smart enough.
Yeah.
So eventually he got insane, tried to construct this death ray that didn't work, I hope.
So it's historical consensus that Nikola Tesla basically tried to become a Bond villain.
Yes. Yeah.
Basically. And Elon Musk just posts anime memes. High school teacher told us when he died, the CIA just raided an island he had and took everything. That must be true as well, Waffle. I'm actually going to trust... I'm actually now considering Lewd Waffle more of a credible historical source than you are, Tardulv. If only just because of the pigeon thing. That's my thing now. If you had come to me with the pigeon thing, your position as like Chad historian would have been solidified. But I don't know. You failed, my friend. You failed me. But
yeah, trust the waffle guy.
Trust the waffle guy.
You're fucking Canadian.
Yeah, fucking Canada.
No one can fucking trust Canada in anything.
The only people you can trust less than Canadians are the English. Or the Danish.
Yeah, that is true. All of this is true. You can't trust the British.
Nope.
You can't trust the Canadians. You can't trust the Danish either. Fuck those guys.
Hashtag fuck Canada.
Can't trust the Norwegians either.
Oh, hang on, 7th is posting memes. Let's hang on. There we go. Fuck Canada.
Oh no, the chat is spiraling down into...
I know, this is my second proper stream and we've already got the racism coming in. A far-right guy just got the leadership of our Conservative Party. Wish me luck. Hey, solidarity, Waffle. We've been there with you for ages. Autumn blocked me from posting it. Yeah, I just okayed it. 7. But yeah, as I say as well,
yeah,
I live on Turf Island, so it's horrible.
If anyone ever listens to my history podcast and you hear me say, "Well, this is not from credible sources," just try to understand that it's probably not confirmed, but I still want to tell a good story.
Yeah, of course.
It's because never ruin a good story.
Yeah, of course.
Also, my favorite part of history is actually that you found Richard III in a fucking parking lot. I can't get over that.
That was such a wild ride. That was so amazing to especially because it was all over the news here. That was such an amazing sort of thing that happened. It was so incredible.
Yeah, so I read about his death, and I mentioned it in the podcast, and even Shad Logic made some sound effects for it.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, but it's basically Richard the Head got struck so hard by a halberd that half his skull fell off and his
Yeah.
brain fell out.
Yeah.
So, and then they just fucking buried him, and then you made a fucking parking lot of him. And I kind of wonder, whoever made the first parking lot, didn't they find him?
I think he was dug up once and then buried again. I'm pretty sure that happened. Or maybe I just made that up in my head, but I'm sure I've heard that before. I think it's something else weird as well. I think, this came from the Quinton Reviews video as well, I think Hitler's bunker is now also like a parking lot. So there seems to be this weird thing about like important world leaders like having their places turned into parking garages. That's kind of a weird trend in history. Like,
yeah, let's go down, make Napoleon's grave a fucking parking lot. Yeah,
where was Napoleon buried? Was he buried on St. Helena or was he buried in France? Was it St. Helena he ended up in?
Yeah, I think he's buried in France.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Well, at least he has a memorial. Or something like that.
Yeah. I heard Margaret Thatcher's grave was turned into a washroom. Still dead.
Yeah, I don't care if it's illegal. If I see it, I piss on it.
Yeah. Fuck fashion.
I don't know if a Bobby wrestles me down. I could take that. It was when I was in London. Friend, I'm not gonna name her here. I don't want to shame her. I was like, we were going to Highgate Cemetery because that's where Karl Marx is buried.
Yeah.
So we went to see Karl Marx and a lot of other things. Also, we said hello to a fox that was running around in there. But it was like at that walk, I just said that if Margaret Thatcher is anywhere near here, just tell me so that I can go and piss on it. And she said, well, you will be arrested. Yeah, I don't care. I can take that. Deportation. I'm going home tomorrow anyway. I can get deported.
I was going to say, if you're going to get deported from the UK, that's a really, like, what did you, like, talking to customs, and then like, well, what did you do? And it's like, pissed on Thatcher's going, like, oh, you've got like a 65% chance of the person going, oh, okay, fair enough. Literally, I'm just trying to find a little video of like this old woman who was interviewed on the day that Margaret Thatcher's funeral happened, and literally, when you're going to YouTube, the second thing that comes up is Margaret Thatcher dead. It's the second search option. This is it. Have you seen this one before?
Be good, not a bit of good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's good.
What a fucking queen.
Be good, not a bit of good, not a bit. I'd put a stake through her heart and garlic round her leg to make sure she never come back.
Is that a pretty horrible thing to say when her funeral's going on right now?
Too bad.
Oh, make that woman a fucking queen. Yeah, amazing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a queen.
Yeah, that's queen shit, absolutely. We've been going for quite a while now. I really appreciate you talking to me. Look, hang on.
Yeah.
Waffle. Right. Okay, so that woman is British because she's from Scotland, but we try and personally, based on my moral system, I want to sort of separate the Scottish from the English as much as possible because we're terrible. So if you
Kitten! No.
Oh, you've been attacked by your cat.
Yeah.
Right, so you may not understand Scottish speak, Waffle, but you know, it's all the same thing. I guarantee, don't ever come to. If you ever come to Scotland, Waffle, don't say that to anyone.
Don't say that to a Scottish person.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you would get fucked up. You'll get fucked up so hard.
Don't say it to a Scottish person, Irish person, or Wales person. You're gonna get fucked up.
The Welsh are a little more passive, but yeah, definitely don't say it to the Irish Republicans or Scots.
Yeah, but you won't get any beer. Like if you got a Wales person that sounds English, you're not gonna get any beer.
That's true. And Wales is pretty cool actually. I went there for the first time like 2 years ago, and Cardiff particular is was actually really nice. I actually contemplated moving there at one point. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to Wales, that's definitely the place. I'm actually going to do one thing I'm planning to do on stream in the future is a thing about Welsh language music, because there's actually a revival of like rock. There's a rock scene in Wales, which is specifically people singing in Welsh, and it's like young people as well. It's not like a revival of like fucking boomers or something. So Welsh history is something that I think you and I discussed this once. I suggested maybe I could do some research on Welsh history and we could talk about that on the History Pod if you were interested.
Absolutely. I will have to do some actual digging. I'm sorry. It's yeah, I will have to do some digging on it. But if you want to do some West history, preferably, I would say if anyone in the chat that I know or you want to do a history pod episode with me, it's perfectly, it's okay to just ask me. But usually when I talk about it, usually I try to put it down to an event or something like that.
Yeah.
So that you got a time frame to work on.
Well, I mean, the one thing, because I got interested in the concept of like the history of the Welsh language itself. Basically, it was fucking Katie Hopkins flew a fucking fit about. There's a program in Wales to basically the Welsh government wants to get a target of 1 million Welsh speakers by 2050, and proud defender of Britain. Katie Hopkins, who basically is an English exceptionist, because that's what Brexit was. It was an English project, not a British project. She was like talking about how, kids aren't being taught English in Welsh schools anymore. And then obviously I got curious about that. And as just like separate from that, I found out about like the Welsh language music scene. And then also I looked into it, and then I found out about like the history of how the English government stamped out the language, how they tried to make it extinct. So I would argue, like I'll ask or suggest, maybe that's something we could talk about, is like the repression, the history of the repression of it. Like there was a very specific act in Parliament, I think in like the early 19th century. So I don't know if that would be something that would interest you.
All right, can I just, if we're going to talk about the repression of the Wales,
yeah,
or the Welsh,
yeah,
we would have to start a little bit by the Roman Empire.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, that would make sense.
So we have to go from there, but we can make a general talk about the oppression and go kind of quickly through the years.
Yeah, I mean,
but we have to start with Rome, because I think that's when. Well, at least as a Eurocentric perspective goes, Rome is the one to start to interact with the Welsh.
Yeah.
In a way, because that is before the Vikings. That is before English is actually a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And that's where their actual heritage starts, right? So I think we have to go, if we're gonna do anything about the Welsh and the oppression of the Welsh, we have to go back to Julius Caesar, I think, and the oppression. I think we have to talk a little bit about the Adrian Wall.
Yeah.
That is still visible today if you are in Britain, by the way. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But I think, something like that. But you could do an episode like you go from there and up to now.
Yeah.
And you can do pretty quickly in how it, in different stages, basically. Yeah. You don't have to go through all the Roman history in Britain.
Well, there's a lot of it, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It can be an entire episode on its own.
Yeah.
But I think if we're gonna talk about the oppression of the Welsh, maybe I can talk to someone Welsh. Maybe I can even get her on the podcast as well. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I mean, even if I'm interested in topics, so even if I just helped you research and then maybe you could talk to them or something instead of like me having me on, I'd definitely still be interested in helping with that because, as I say, it is a really interesting topic to me.
Yeah, I know. I think I know at least one Welsh.
One.
I might know two.
Yeah.
But again, I'm Swedish.
Yeah.
How the fuck do I know? But it's really, that's a really interesting topic, actually.
Yeah.
I also want, that's a really interesting topic. But it goes for everyone on that is in chat right now. If you ever want to talk about it, historical, about your country or something like that, whatever, it's I'm open for that. Just give me a specific idea or event or something like that, so we got a time frame or a frame at all to work with, because otherwise it usually tends to get, oh shit, this grows a lot larger than wanted it to be, and history is always a series of events that happens on top of each other, so you have to cap it off somewhere. Otherwise it's just going everywhere.
If you, I think this is probably a good place to stop here. It's getting really hot in this room for some reason. I've got to get up early in the morning. But do you want to let me do it. If you want to throw some stuff into the chat, I know most of the people who are in here anyway probably know who you are. But we'll do this as kind of a tradition thing. I'll throw YouTube in there at least and stuff like that. But I really appreciate you coming on.
Welcome to the Horror Hotel.
I don't really have anything else to plug.
Yeah.
It's just follow me on Twitter if you want to look at some dumb shit, because that's all I do. All I do is dunking on dumb shit.
We all spend far too much time on Twitter. We are all we have some memes. We have some good times. It's what it is. All right. Well, if you ever want to come on again, I'm totally up for that. Yeah. I think I'm still figuring out my content and stuff, and because my job is so weird, my schedule jumps around a lot, and we've had it changing day by day. But one thing I'm interested in possibly doing is I want to do more formal interviews where I set stuff up in advance. But honestly, if you or anyone watching or anyone else that anyone might think might be interested, if anyone just ever wants to come on and then just talk about something, I'm really open for that. These sort of more impromptu. I mean, literally, I asked you if you wanted to do this 20 minutes before I started streaming. So if anyone ever wants to do that, please feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, if you ever want to, I'm gonna say that if you ever want me to come on and talk about some history-related stuff, just ask me, or horror-related stuff also works.
Absolutely.
This time around, I got 20 minutes prep, so it is what it is.
You did good. I'll say it was really interesting, and I really, really appreciate it. So
yeah, but if I get a more prep, maybe I can.
Yeah, we'll set something up at some point. So
yeah,
I would absolutely love that.
Yeah, okay. It was really fun. Thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. Thank you.